Hey everybody, Brooks here. Thank you for taking time to join me for today's 5 for 5. So yesterday was a great day at church. Awesome couple of services, and then Sunday evening we had just an amazing time of fellowship. The first time we've done that for our entire church in over a year. And we were out in the grass field. The choir sang. It was just incredible. All 250 hamburgers got eaten or at least taken. So it's just a great time. I mean, games going on. It was a little warm, but man, what a great night of just fellowship. Had some new folks out there as well. Got to meet some people, and just a great time. So Sunday was just awesome. Well, this is the start kind of a new work week, and so I want to share with you a passage of scripture from all the way back in Exodus chapter 16. But before I do that, I want to just make mention of one of my first remembrances of going to a buffet. Yeah, this is 2 days in a row I've talked about buffets now. But I remember as a kid, kind of when buffets became popular, and one of the best things about those buffets was the bread. And you could go to a buffet or you could go to a steakhouse and get those big old yeast rolls, and man, they're just incredible. Even now, that's one of the favorite parts of a meal is the bread that they bring out. It's just awesome. Well, in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus, God's people are wandering through the wilderness, and they're complaining to God because they don't have anything to eat. And so God provides for them in a miraculous fashion every single morning through something that was called manna. And I'm not quite sure what it tasted like. The Bible kind of gives a little bit of a description, but I would think it was similar in some way at least to bread. And so listen what it says in Exodus 16 in verse 4. It says, "So the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them whether or not they will walk in my instruction." And so the instruction was clear. They would go out every day and they would gather enough of this manna, which in Hebrew, that word literally means, what is it? They would gather this manna, and it was like dew on the ground in the morning. They would gather that, and it would be enough for their family just for that one day. On the sixth day of the week, in preparation of the Sabbath, they would gather enough for 2 days. And the instruction was clear. Don't try to save it overnight because it's going to go bad. Well, many of the people tried to save it overnight, just like God said not to do, and sure enough, it went bad. Well, here's the thing. I think this was a lot bigger than their hunger, and I think the issue was a lot more than this bread that God would provide miraculously. I think the bigger issue was their trust of God. He gave them very strict parameters as to when they could, or how much they could collect, how long it would last, and they had to trust Him. It was a test in a lot of ways. And at the same time, that manna was only good for one day. You couldn't gather enough except for that one designated time weekly. You couldn't gather enough to hold you for the next 1 day or 2 days or the next couple of weeks. You had to trust God every day. Tomorrow's manna would only come tomorrow. You couldn't live off of it ahead of time. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of the way our walk is today, isn't it? We don't know what's coming tomorrow. We don't know what the details of tomorrow are going to hold. We don't know where our struggles are going to be. We don't know where the challenges are going to come from. God's grace is for today. We have to trust that when we get to tomorrow, no matter what lies there waiting for us, that God's grace is going to be there as well. Jesus would say, don't fret, don't worry about tomorrow. In other words, trust God, trust His provision, trust His presence, trust His promises and His faithfulness. In Lamentations, it says that God's mercies are new every single morning. Great is His faithfulness. And so, we're not going to walk outside today and find manna lying on the ground. But you know what? You still do need God to provide for you. And you do need to trust Him to provide, not just today, but all of the rest of your days as well. The good news is that there's no reason to worry about tomorrow, because God's going to be faithful then, whenever that time comes. And so just kind of relax a little bit today. Don't be anxious. Don't worry. Trust in God's provision for you today as you follow Him, and enjoy the blessings that He gives you now. You have a great day today. God bless you.